Esports is the new hotness. Just as important as the players and coaches are the commentators, translate and highlight the story for the audience. And it's a fun job, but it's tougher than it sounds.
Went alive, aggressive roll, and she gets asses right there.
I have no idea how you did that.
It doesn't matter how you try to hit them if nothing lands.
There's just something about you that we all love.
We've had thousands of submissions, and we whittled it down to 10. And compete for an opportunity at fame, fortune, and the opportunity to cast hi-rez Studios' TylrrK Smite World Championship.
And win $10,000.
The stage has been set.
The players are ready.
Everyone wants this job. It's yelling about video games.
Sick him, boy. Wow, what an amazing damage.
We're gonna see who comes out on top. And who is the caster.
Well, we're your casters for this weekend. My name's Tom F. Dot, and that's going to be Ryan Agro, and we're going to be joining you. You're going to see a lot of us this weekend for, right now, the European Smite Console League relegation.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one because we saw the relegations of the PC side of things coming into this sort of new meta, a little bit more late game oriented, a little bit more focused on those late game hyper carry gods. So expect to see a lot of gods like Thoth. That was very, very popular on the PC side.
These teams are competing for a spot in the Pro League, which will be the fall split. And that's going to be the final split before HRX. They have to play through relegation and then play through into an entire regular season in order to earn their right on the stage. We're going to take a look at how they get there. Relegation is what we're doing today. Round robin, each team plays each other once.
And then you got the fall split if you can move on outside of these relegations. It's going to be 6 weeks. Each team gets one bye week. And then that's all in the name of trying to get to those SCL fall finals.
That's for the players. But for you guys at home, it's a little bit easier of a path. In fact, you can start right now. Early bird still on the line. HRX Expo. Hi-rez Expo. It's like ATM machine, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit.
But HRX, save 25% if you go ahead at hi-rezexpo.com and go ahead and pay for your tickets right now.
And trust me, you want to be there. It's way more fun than anyone tells you. It's an absolute blast. Absolutely worth the trip.
So what we're going to look at today, as we said, is our Smite Console League relegations. 4 teams competing for 2 spots. The bottom 2 teams out of the Console League will be defending their spot against 2 members coming up from the bottom.
And it's going to be CAZ Esports and Era Eternity trying to defend their spots up against the Chans, the Ezzune-Chan, but we're going to call him Chan for today. And this is going to be a fun matchup because a lot of these teams, the European Console League historically has struggled up against the top card rival, and basically always have. But this is the first relegations in my mind where the talent is sort of spread out and there's not a lot of empty spots. There's a lot of recognizable names across all 4 teams, and this is really the first time we can say that, so we're hoping for some good competition here.
Yeah, in the second game, we're looking at Era versus Null and Void, which is kind of Null and Void a little bit newer, and then Era represented by Sirduckbot. But we're going to start off the day with Chan versus CAZ. These guys really going to go head-to-head. Picks and bans coming your way.
And it's going to be Chan in that first pick position. CAZ probably the favorite to get out of relegations here. I mean, Atonement, the former rival hunter on this roster, as well as Alexum, who's been in the console league forever. So CAZ probably the one team that you would expect to see come out of relegations here, but we've seen surprises happen before, especially in the EU relegations.
No surprises as far as these bans are concerned, though. Odin has been very strong inside and out of the meta, and one of those characters that kind of transcends the meta between PC and console. Odin's just Odin, and so he needs to walk away, and all of these are very familiar bans. Except for the Chang'e. That one kind of sticks out to me.
As you mentioned, though, on the console side of things, Chang'e a little bit more popular, especially in that mid lane. A lot of console mid laners really seem to like this Chang'e. And when you're in that second pick position, you've got a plan for your first 2 picks. So you're expecting Chan to take hell here, which they do, especially with Odin off the table. Just a matter of what CAZ has in their pocket to try and deal with this.
Well, they're going to go with the Terra, and there's a couple of other options that do reduce as far the healing that Hell can output. You're thinking about Cullen, you're thinking about Sirduckbot, most likely.
Right.
What other gods come to mind to deal with this Hell as we see Ravana locked in, who has no healing reduction?
But he's a good god that can build Brawler's Beat Stick very early on. You don't necessarily need to pick that insane anti-heal. I mean, something like Osiris or Sirduckbot would be great, yes, but as long as you get characters that can efficiently build anti-heal early on, you're doing your job correctly.
And with the way Hell works these days, instead of having the burst heal, it's a heal over time. If you can dive the backline and just sort of kill her real quick, that can be just as effective. I mean, the best crowd control is death, right? So
always
taking Hell out by way of Robin, not a bad choice. But Geb and Cucullin selected for Chan along the left.
Man, Geb plus Hell it's a really tough recipe to try and get through. I mean, not only is Hell very escapable on her own, she's got that cleanse. She can make herself CC immune, so the roots and the slows from Robin aren't going to really matter that much. Plus that extra movement speed from Inspire. It's basically a mini sprint that lasts for 6 seconds. Then you've got a Geb shield on top of that, a Cucullin there to peel. It's going to be difficult to kill this Hell.
Bellona, Ravana, and Terra, 3 very tanky characters on the side of CAZ as they go ahead and ban out one of the hunters. For Ezzune-Chan, it looks like Cucullin can flex, but it looks like basically we're looking at a hunter and a jungler here. Between Hell and Geb, I almost want to see one of these Kali type characters that can shoot through tanks, but you don't have to be so cautious because you have the super friends on your side with Hell and Geb.
That's true. Maybe a Nemesis. I think Nemesis a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Plus does the same sort of thing of shredding those tanks. I think that would be an excellent pick. Or Cucullin going into the jungle would work out beautifully here as well. Cucullin's seen a lot of success in that jungle role. No reason to try and force something in if you're not comfortable with it. If you've been practicing these warrior jungles, and they should have been by now, warrior jungles kind of the new hotness basically on the pro scene. This is the way to go. We'd put in that Cucullin jungle.
Kronos, the final man, coming out from Ezzune-Chan. CAZ looking for, again, likely a hunter and not a jungler, as they have Robin likely going to find his way there. But a mid laner. It looks like Chang'e will be the mid laner. You're not buying it.
I just don't know why. I mean, there's so many mages on the table, and Chang'e the pick. I mean, the only reason that I can really think of is that you want dot damage with whenever you apply anti-heal, because that duration refreshes every time the dot goes off. So you pick Chang'e to build Divine Ruin and keep the anti-heal on longer, but it's not the burst damage that you need to deal with Hell. It's not the burst damage you need to deal with Geb. I just can't imagine why Chang'e is the best pick here.
Late game, Chang does bring some burst damage, but at the end of the day, I'm with you.
But it's only one ability that does burst damage, and it's really not that bursty compared to just about every other mage. Even Zeus, I think, would have been a much stronger pick here.
Alexum likes his Chang'e. That's why we're seeing it.
Sure.
It's a comfort pick for him. As we get into game here, I want to touch on the Artemis, who's going to have a harder time against the Geb. Another curious selection, but Atonement playing on him might be a little bit more comfortable on the Artemis, sort of like Alexum. It seems to be a world where we're going with comfort picks instead of what goes as far as the ups and downs of the meta. Ezzune-Chan, we're just going to call him Ezzune-Chan, and CAZ Esports coming at you live.
Yeah, the Artemis not great into Geb because Geb's passive means that he takes less damage from crit strikes. Artemis's entire passive is crit more often, so it's not going to be as effective into the Geb as you mentioned. Plus, what Artemis does best is blink into a team fight if you're buying blink, which most pro-level Artemis is right now. You blink in, you use the boar, and you kill the first person that you hit with it. But Hell's got cleanse.
Yep.
Geb's got shield.
Yep.
Who are you killing with that? I just don't know.
Could be a little bit tough. Nice, interesting play coming here from the two warriors on CAZ. They're going to proxy farm behind the towers of Ezzune-Chan, and that should leave them with an exact moment to walk into the jungle.
I also love what Switch did on the left side of the map. Actually set up his walls to block the minion wave, delaying how fast it was going to get to Woolvie in that duo lane, which allows Atonement to farm this red buff without much threat of losing his own minion wave that he wants to farm up. Really heads up play there out of CAZ's duo lane.
And look at that. Both of the jungle camps that we were talking about just taken away, and because CAZ was able to get some pressure in the mid lane, they're able to go and secure the top side as well, their own. So very good farm coming out for the guys on CAZ. They'll give up the mid harpies and these gremlins, it looks like, and just barely below gets out of there.
And Robin wanted to try and get in there and get some of those fire elementals, but the secure too strong from the Cucullin, who is in the solo lane. Jungle Hunbat's here, and Hunbat's pretty excellent against a team fighting composition, which is exactly what CAZ has drafted here.
At the same time, these characters are tanky, so the crits from Hunbat's as he goes and hits him with the Fear No Evil, it'll disrupt the team fight coming across the way, but will Chan have the damage? We were talking about Kali's and Nemesi, characters that can really chew through these tanky opposition. Hunbat's doesn't strike me as the tank killer.
No, but Soul certainly can fill that role. Soul, whenever she gets her passive stacked up, getting that extra attack speed and damage off of her passive is really, really potent at shredding through these tanks. Fear No Evil just there to lock one of these tanks in place long enough for Soul to chew through them. Hell's going to have insane burst damage even through that warrior. I mean, Hell is one of the highest damaging gods in the game, no doubt about it. So you have to be careful about that. It is going to take a little bit for Eribiiax to get to that point where he's going to be able to chew through those tanks off Fear No Evil, but as long as Soul starts rotating these team fights, I'm not too worried about how much damage Chan has.
Angleman staying aggressive despite being a level down and not having the HP to match with Mr. Turtle. Good choice.
Well, he's Kakulin. He gets an extra health shield whenever he transforms, and having a whole new rotation of abilities is pretty potent.
Level 4 still on the monkey. Otherwise, that would have been a very dangerous situation for CAZ to be in at the moment. Gank coming out from Robin, but Mangleman smells it out and sits further back on his tower.
I like where Malloy's was, though, before this gank. On the enemy back harpies, you saw Plasma right there on the mini-map actually go to farm up those back harpies and find out that they're gone. Those back harpies are worth a lot of golden experience, and if you can get away with stealing them from the enemy jungle, it's always going to be a big boost for that jungler.
Plasma's here. He gets rooted out by Mallow. An easy jump away from the monkey, saves his life. Nice little play coming out from Mallow, who's sitting there around the rock, understanding that Plasma was here. Just wants to make sure that nobody really got caught out of position.
But this poke is really well timed from CAZ because the fire elementals just spawned, meaning that Plasma not only being half health, but only level 4 because of that back harpy invade from Malloy's, whereas the Robin jungle is living level 5. He has that Mystic Rush ultimate available. Hun Bats has no chance to try and contest those, and that's going to get Mr. Turtle even farther ahead in the solo lane.
Did mention that he had the ultimate. Not going to use it just yet, but now level 5 on the monkey. Look for Hun Bats to start sniffing around and trying to find a kill. Hun Bats is absolutely a character that transforms at level 5 with Fear No Evil, so certainly something you want to keep an eye on as the game progresses.
Speaking of as the game progresses, the late game here for Chan is just insane. I mean, not only do you have the Hell, but you've got Geb, probably the best late game Guardian, and then you've got a Soul as well, who's absolutely nuts in the late game. Sure, Artemis is as well. She's very strong come late game. But then you've got Robin, who is good but not insane, and then you've got Bellona, who's good, but you know most warriors are pretty good in the late game. And then you've got a Hell up against a Zhang Kui. Zhang nowhere near as potent in the late game as Hell is going to be, especially when these shells, the sprints, things like that to kind of sit through or get away from that Zhang Kui ultimate, he's going to become less impactful, and it's going to be very, very difficult for CAZ to keep up in the later stages.
Staple item on Hell, Lotus Crown, that's going to be able to, she's going to be able to utilize her heal to boost protections on her teammates and speed them up. Two things that Zhang Kui's really grown at. So, I mean, the Hell pick, the Zhang Kui into the Hell, knowing that she's going to pick up the Lotus Crown, already speeding up her teammates, and there's going to be a shell around there. I mean, I like Zhang Kui. I think he has his applications. I don't think this is one of them.
I agree with you, though I do like the fact that CAZ has gone 2 sprints early on here. Sprint very good to pair with Zhang Kui, not only because it helps him chase down people in his ultimate, but he also has no innate escape. You can use it to get away if they engage onto you. Plus the fact that he has his Warlock Sash already done. We're only 5 minutes in. He started with Uncommon Sash. He's already at 10 stacks. That's a good look for Alexim in that mid lane.
Yeah, getting out of that early stage without really suffering. Uncommon Sash leaves you with room for, I think, a single potion. So you don't really have that much sustain when you're starting that Uncommon Sash. It's all about getting out of there. If you can buy that 5-minute Warlock Sash, you are looking good. Normal timing, 7:30, 8 minutes, even more so if you're starting other items. So to see that come online this early, he's already up to 12 stacks. It's 100 stacks, remember, folks. So that's a really big boon if you're rooting for the Zhang.
And the big thing is that you don't get any innate mana sustain whenever you go for the Uncommon Sash start. You get a little bit of health, you get a little bit of mana, but I think that's the most underrated part for mid lane starter items is just passive MP5 because you're using so many abilities, and then you've got a lot of downtime. You need that time to recuperate that lost mana that you've used, and not having it can really put you in a bad spot mana-wise, but Alexim's done a pretty good job of conserving that. Switch has been there with him. He's been the one clearing for the majority, and then it's Alexim coming in to clean up the last hits in order to get that bonus gold and the stacks for the Warlock Sash.
We always talk about the difference between ranked and team play, and obviously you immediately go to objective calls and and things like that, communication. But that's really one of the bigger differences as well, is understanding the pluses and minuses of your team composition and going, look, it's a Chang'e with an uncommon sesh. Somebody else has to farm the wave. So Terra, go sit over there and actually do it for him. Good luck trying to explain that to your teammates' strength.
Yeah, no, I don't want to have that sort of responsibility and trying to type all that out and then have them respond to it. Speaking of Warlock Sash, it looks like Soul's going to be going for one in that duo lane as well. I think this is a response to Atonement going for Devourer's Gauntlets. He's going for a stacking item, so I may as well play for the later stages as well. Woolvie understands that he's not going to be able to take the boxing fights early on because of the innate lifesteal that Atonement has, so I don't mind this decision. It's just a matter of how quickly he can get it going, because as we were talking about with Alexum's Warlock Sash, that's 100 stacks. It takes a long time to get all those stacks up, and it really doesn't become effective until you're at least halfway done. So you want to make sure that you're getting at least a 50 before you rotate to your first team fight. How well can he fight?
I think we're going to see the Fear No Evil here. Very cautious, just hold the trigger for so long. The stun comes out. There's the ultimate out of the monkey. Definitely not going to be enough after that Ravana pops the damage reduction.
Exactly what I was about to say. Mystic Rush gives you 40% damage reduction for quite some time, so that Fear No Evil and substantial follow-up is really nothing to worry about if you're Malloy's. Plasma's got to pull the trigger before that, but that being said, Malloy's had overhead kick. He used it, but still had the purification beads in order to get out of that. So I don't know if there's a big area for Plasma to make a big impact, but it probably could have gotten the beats.
Eribiiax in some trouble. There's the ultimate coming out from Chang'e. The ghosts are coming out, but saved by Ezzuna. Eribiiax gets out of there. Nice stun. Fear No Evil's on cooldown, remember, so Plasma can't make too big of an impact here. It's much more about saving Eribiiax, who's still here, but a hot cleanse gets him out of trouble.
And here comes Woolvie around the backside looking for Alexum, but misses the ultimate. Now into the Disapparate form, trying to get away from Malloy's switch. Can't quite find the root because of the purification beads and shield.
Ezzune-Chan just showed zero discipline. But they have the Hell and their Geb player. Not just the gods, Eribiiax and Ezzuna actually did a very good job of saving their CC cleanse for whatever decision-making Woolvie and Plasma decided to go for. Wrapping around the backside by himself, Woolvie. And you know what? Maybe I'll take that back a little bit because it's push and pull. You also are anticipating the cleanses. So Woolvie makes the aggressive play knowing that he has that safety cord. Maybe that's why we saw him as aggressive as we did.
Plus, he's got a Geb shield. I mean, there's plenty to know that you're going to be safe with this sort of roster that Chan has drafted. That being said, I really like the sprint coming out from Switch because Plasma hit a two-man somersault, and that's a 40% slow among two people. Chang'e didn't have his boots yet, so he's going to be really slow, but a quick sprint popped by the support for CAZ gets both the mid laner and the support out of danger.
You mentioned the boots, and I just immediately look at 50 stacks before 10 minutes. That's a lot. This is a very quality, I mean, I don't normally like the uncommon sash start because I think it's very hard to pull off, but when you actually get it to work, 50 stacks, this item is already happening. At 10, 20 stacks, the Warlock Sash isn't a comparable item to something else you would pick up. Once you're at 50-something, you're good.
Eribiiax in a lot of trouble. He's out of mana. There comes the Fear No Evil, though, and that keeps him alive for the moment, but Malloy's will finally claim the first blood. Alexum, big ultimate out of Malloy's and the mid laner, but almost enough to get away. Plasma does get put down by Mr. Turtle. CAZ with a great recognition there. Perfect engagement because Eribiiax, completely out of mana, needs to use a lot of mana in order to keep himself alive with the heals, with the cleanses. Good recognition by CAZ that was as good of a fight as they're ever going to get.
And again, talking about comfort picks versus gods that are going to be definitely strong, right? This Chang'e, not our favorite pick due to the matchup, but Eribiiax, Alexum and his team CAZ understand the strengths and weaknesses. That burst damage came from the exorcism on the Chang'e. He hit all three members with the card, bursted them down, and then Bologna was able to finish one off with a hammer, chase them down out the backside. That was just a very well done play. And again, talking about the stacks, the reason they go for that play right now is because the Chang'e can actually bring that damage.
And the fact that, as I mentioned, Eribiiax very low on mana and hadn't backed in a long time, was only sitting on that Lotus Crown 1, the little helmet, so he's not going to be very strong at that point. This right now is probably as strong as Alexum gets all game long in comparison to everyone else on the map, because as you mentioned, he just finished his pen boots, he's got a lot of stacks on that Warlock Sash. He's incredibly tanky right now. It's nearly impossible to bring him down unless he's way out of position, so this is a good time for CAZ to be fighting. Problem is, are they going to be able to take down Eribiiax now that he's got that Lotus Crown? That means that whenever he heals heals any member of his team with Inspire, that's increased physical protections for 11 seconds because it refreshes 5 seconds long on Lotus Crown, and it refreshes every single time that Inspire heal ticks.
One thing that it doesn't give is the magical protections, as you mentioned, the physical though. So it might allow Alexum to still be powerful. I think we see Alexum staying in the driver's seat for one more item. Once he gets his penetration, he's still, I think, strongman, and then he starts to transition into that tanky mage instead of that burst mage. So for the next couple of minutes, I think we do see a chance for Alexum and his team to go ahead and fight their way to an objective.
Alexum needs to buy Divine Ruin next. He cannot afford to wait another item. Yes, we're talking about how well this Warlock Sash start has gone for him, but still a lot of gold that you're putting into that Warlock Sash, and that means that Hell has had this much time to not worry about any anti-heal. Malloy's, he's got the Brawler's Beat Stick now. Alexum cannot afford to go Spear of the Magus here. It's got to be Divine Ruin first because Eribiiax is already becoming a problem in that mid lane.
It's gonna be, well, it looks like I really think he's
gonna go.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go the penetration. Maybe he's playing it by ear. Here's my deal. If CAZ are able to fight their way to a Gold Fury, then go the aggressive route, take the pen, and pull and hold off the Divine Ruin.
But see, that's the trap. If you think that right now you can have a team fight go your way and think, yeah, I'll go Spear, I'll just do enough damage where I don't need the anti-heal.
Right.
You can't do that right now because by the time you finish off the next item, it's going to be too late by then. Plus, Divine Ruin does give you pen.
Fair.
It's just not quite enough compared to that Spear. You're going to need Spear at some point as a Chang'e, but Divine Ruin needs to be the next item.
And then just touching on one of the more rudimentary things, when it comes to penetration, Spear versus Obsidian Shard, Chang'e is a dot character, so he's really going to take up that Spear of the Magus very, very quickly. 13 minutes in, folks, and 2 kills. Both of them belong to CAZ Esports, but Ezzune-Chan looking to change that one. Not going to go for the pickoff onto Mallow. Thought we were going to see a heavier initiation.
Had the purification beads, had the shell as well. I don't mind them just poking him out and resetting here because remember, it's Chan with the sustain, not CAZ.
So far, Chan coming back from a little bit behind. They're down about 1,200 gold, give or take. Not too big of a deal. But they're fighting like they're absolutely not because of that Lotus Crown.
It's huge. It's such a big power spike for Hell. And the fact that there's not a lot of anti-heal on the map right now for CAZ. There is the Cursed Ankh now from Mr. Turtle. Smart pickup by him. You can never, you really cannot have enough anti-heal against Hell. I just don't think there's such a thing as too much. You need to, still get your big power items. You still need your Hunter to either get chins or some crit. You still need your Mage to be getting Rod of Tahuti. You can't forsake those items in order to try and get the anti-heal. But everything else is optional except for the anti-heal and those big power items.
Can't you just kill her?
No. She's too quick. She does too much healing. She's too hard to lock down, and she does too much damage. You can't just kill the Hell. You need to try and anti-heal her because unless you've got Scylla ultimate, you're really not going to be able to burst her down through that heal.
Nice save on those oracles right there. One goes to CAZ, one goes to Chan. Good play coming out from Switch right there, making sure to split it down the middle so no vision goes for free over the Gold Fury. But now the Oracle vision is down. Looks like CAZ is going to try and play something sneaky. 70 stacks of that Warlock Sash. The Artemis can basically solo it, but not really going to go for it. I think they have the opportunity there with an Executioner, an Artemis. That is a free Gold Fury, but CAZ playing it a little safe.
But they don't know. I don't know if they've got a Sentry Ward on that Gold Fury. They might not know if anyone had backed yet. Just one of those opportunities that we as casters can see the whole map and recognize it. This could still be free here. This is a really excellent time to pull this Gold Fury.
This is still free.
Yeah, this one's gone. No, Woolvie's not going to get here in time. Smart pull there by CAZ, and that's the huge benefit that Devourer's Gauntlets brings you. Not only do you get that lifesteal and power in the late game, but the ability to solo objectives. It really, Atonement didn't need any extra help there.
Not at all.
And he's going to be able to get that for his team. That's big because now that means that anti-heal that CAZ needs, those power items, they can get a little bit closer to. And more importantly, it keeps it out of the hands of the late game roster of Chen.
I mean, that's one of the bigger. I mean, the 15-minute Gold Fury is one of the stronger gold. It's 3,000 gold to lead when before you were barely ahead by 1,000. I mean, that's a big push. That's a really big push. And Ezzune-Chan, as soon as they hear that noise, definitely kicking themselves in the behind. Mr. Turtle trying to deal out some damage, but gonna miss on the bludgeon.
Does have that mythical mail completed. He went for the steel mail, realized he was a little bit too far off, so went for Swift Wing instead. I think that's a pretty smart pickup here. It's a little bit ahead in terms of overall damage right now over Mango Man because Mango went for the Breastplate of Valor, but in the later game, Mango's going to be able to get his items online earlier because his build's a little bit cheaper.
I want to talk about smart pickups. We finally see an Ankh. Usually not even picked up because the idea is that even though the complete shutdown of healing is just not enough, you want something extra on that. But, I mean, you were talking about hell. There's no such thing as too much anti-heal.
Alexum in a bad spot here. There's the Fear No Evil, forces out the Purification Beads, and here comes a turnaround from CAZ, but I don't know if it's going to be enough because Mango Man is so tanky. Malloy's put some good damage into him and a stun from Switch, but he's still over half HP.
Mango Man very low now, but again, he just has that Eribiiax friend. Healing him all the way back up. Big engagement, a lot of stuns, a lot of damage, but nobody really leaving that one.
And that's what's going to happen a lot whenever you've got a Hell and a Geb on one side. It's going to be a lot of damage into one person and not a lot of kills to result in it. And again, this is a good time to fight for CAZ because Eribiiax has been very greedy with his back timing, has not been backing often. He, again, very, very low on mana, relying on that Sands of Time passive to give him extra MP5 whenever he's low in the mana department. But he's got to be worried about that moving forward because even if right now he's okay, as you continue to level up these skills, they go up in mana cost. You got to have more in your mana pool because if these fights start getting extended, that should be in Chan's favor. But if your main healer is out of mana, can't really be fighting in that scenario.
Full Book of Thoth purchased by the Hell, and I think that's a very, very important item to buy, and one that I think a lot of people at home kind of forget. They go, oh, Hell, she's a healer. I just buy Rod of Asclepius, I buy this Lotus Crown, anything that helps me healing. Hell is a mage that happens to heal these days, and the healing does go off the charts, but the damage is nuts too.
Oh, it's crazy. Plus, it's a huge boost to your mana pool. And
yeah,
as I was just talking about, Eribiiax has had some trouble with his mana. This is a good answer for that. It is very expensive, but I mean, if he's staying out for basically 3K gold like he did, then it's not too much of an issue. Lacking in the penetration department, especially with the cooldown boots, could use some more CDR as well. It delays a lot of what Hell wants to buy at this stage in the game, but at the end of the day, it's a solid pickup here.
It's also going to increase your heals as well. Don't forget, Mango Man pushing forward, and Tusky's just going to hang out on the backside.
That's Tusky's. That's always been his problem. You never see he's a lazy little boar at times, and that was an opportunity for a pickoff, no doubt about it. Atonement is swinging. He's 2 levels up over Woolvie right now. He already knocked down the tier 1 tower, and I like the fact that he's here now trying to rotate and make an impact. Poison Star, there's a big power spike for him, increasing that crit, now slowing and dealing that bonus. Oh man, Eribiiax falling pretty low here.
I like the play from Mr. Turtle, wrapping all the way around the backside. Nobody's leashing the portal even just yet, but Alexum takes down the Hell. That's going to be the swing play for the fight. On the backside, however, Mango Man dealing with 2, almost taking down the Terra, but his eyes are on the Hunter, and the Hunter takes him out anyway.
Plasma has that Geb shield, but still trying to run away from Alexum. Not quite enough with that Exorcism, but Switch can't quite close the gap either. Plasma not going to be able to find the turnaround kill. I like the idea there, knowing that he's probably toast. Try and get a trade out kill, but at the end, it's only Ezzuna left alive for Chan, and it's CAZ Esports pushing down the mid lane.
I am going to go, so obviously the Hell died, and I called it in the play-by-play. That's the turning point no matter what. But I have to go back to the Warlock Sash pickup on the Soul. I've seen this pickup on Chronos's before as well. It's not the most unheard of build, but I mean, 59 stacks, you're starting to do it, but it's not the same as if you had just got a Thoth or a Bancroft or anything else that just provides you that raw power that you're going to fight with toe-to-toe.
I don't know if it's necessarily that. It's just the fact that Atonement is massive right now. He's the highest level in the game. Mango Man gets him low and forces him out of the fight, but because of the lifesteal and that crit, it was a beautiful route there on the trap by Atonement that allows him to get enough space so that pulsing sort of mystical male anger that Cullen gets in his transformation form wasn't going to be able to hit him. That was a big play by Atonement.
The steal, not going to happen. Chan can't catch up even though the magic missile comes out from the Hell. CAZ secures another gold here. They're second of the game, and it'll be 6,000 gold in the lead for the red team.
And Alexum did go for the Divine Ruin in that 3rd item slot. Very smart by him. Now he's working towards a Gem of Isolation. Had an option there of going for Rod of Tahuti. Could have gone for the Spear if he felt like he needed more penetration, but the Cucullin doesn't have a lot of magical protection right now. Basically only that Genji's guard, and you look at what Ezzuna is building on the Geb. He's got a little bit more with that Onis, but it's actually the same, so you're not too worried about it. The penetration that you have from your boots and the Divine Ruin's enough right now. Instead, going for the slow route with the Gem of Isolation. we'll see if it works out, because between the cleanse and the sprint on the side of Chan, it might be difficult to really get a lot of mileage out of that gem of isolation, but could also really be impactful. If you're forcing Hell to use cleanse on just a slow, that means that the Artemis ultimate's going to be better, the Terra CC is going to be better, everything you have is going to be more effective because Hell is using that cleanse on something that doesn't really matter quite as much. So it could work out in the long run for Alexum.
Exactly. That's really what I'm talking. That's really what I'm thinking about, is forcing that cleanse to come out in scenarios where you really don't want it to come out. It's a long cooldown. Ultimate coming out. That's a Terra ultimate.
No, I think he just rooted him in the mid lane there. That with
I
the cleanse.
I thought I saw the slowdown. You know the.
No, with the cleanse on top of the Hell, like there's a lot of effects going on there. The Lotus Crown.
Special.
Yeah.
Right side siege, a little bit special as well. Tower going to go down, no problem. Very important that Chan does not defend here. You want to defend under that tier 2, if at all. Eribiiax is in the absolute wrong spot.
But he's got the cleanse, but there comes Mr. Turtle over the top with the Eagles rally. Mango Man's got to try and disengage, but look at this CC combination. Alexum is going in with that ultimate. Down comes that ult from Soul as well, but didn't hit anyone.
It does. The damage is just about pushing players off. The tower already half down. Mallow in trouble. Mallow gets taken out by Plasma, but Atonement trades out, taking down the monkey. Went a little bit too far, and he gets taken down by the Hunter.
Atonement almost fell in response. Really good long-range poke between the Hell and the Soul. And Atonement was left all alone in that lane. 1-for-1. CAZ don't quite get that tier 2 tower, but the chase is on here. Ezzuna still trying to close the gap. He's got Blink. Doesn't need to use it here. Just gets that knock up onto Atonement, but not enough for the team to catch up.
I like this play by Chan right now. They're down 6,000 gold, and you have to take every opportunity. This is that chance. Mango Man has to be careful as he's zoning out the rest of CAZ, knowing that Hunter can take him down no problem, but the tier 1 on the right side does go down.
This is just using your sustain that you've drafted for Chan, using that Hell. Everyone's still healthy. Mango Man a little bit poked out, but as soon as Eribiiax gets close, it's going to boost that health up.
Alexum from the left side looking for the flank, trying to get everybody in trouble. Eribiiax uses the Aegis, it's going to go down. So is his life bar. 25% on the Hell. Keep an eye on that mage. Switch trying to find the root, but the damage coming out from Hell is big, but the damage out of Alexum is bigger. Down goes the healer.
Mango Man dashes right into a trap laid by Atonement. He's going to fall. Woolvie does answer back, but Atonement with a double. Malloys will clean up Ezzuna. Plasma's here, and he's going to go in 1v4. He might be able to pick up a couple.
He gets one with the monkey, one with the jump. That's a double kill. Could turn around and look at the Ravana, but opts ultimately not to. It's a 4 for 3. Plasma, the last one standing, but a great play coming out from the guys on CAZ. Very important that Plasma takes out those 2 players. Otherwise,
that's a fire giant, absolutely, for CAZ. Big cleanup there, and just recognizing that Atonement's relics were down, and good target focus too, knowing that he's the biggest threat in that sort of scenario, not only because of the crit, but because of the lifesteal as well. And he gets, Alexum low enough that the monkey bounce takes care of him after that Fear No Evil. Either way, good engagement there by CAZ. It was Alexum actually coming around the back, coming in from the jungle. Ezzune-Chan just pushing up a little bit too much on that right-hand side, and Eribiiax just not enough healing to punch through all that damage, and the anti-heal coming out of CAZ.
Yeah, what I really liked there was the lockdown of the Hell. You saw players try to body block everything possible. Everybody on CAZ knows that Eribiiax has to go down. There's a couple of scary players on this team, sure, but you're not going anywhere without the Hell.
Absolutely not. I mean, that's what this whole composition is basically built around. Geb to protect the Hell, Soul there to stay healthy, and then push towers with the Hell whenever you win those long engaged team fights. And that's what Chan really did on that right-hand side. You kind of force the enemy team back. They're all low. You have a Hell. They don't. You push up. You heal up. You get a tower. But you really should have stopped at 1. The 500 gold was enough. Instead, Chan pushes up a little bit too much. Ends up biting them in the butt.
Gold Fury attempt here? It looks like just the Oracles. There's the Fear No Evil. Might have been the Gold Fury, and it's Atonement that's in trouble now. Blinking forward is Ezzuna, but he gets stunned out. There's damage coming out from Alexum as well. Chasing out the support. The Gold Fury brought down all the way to half by just a Hunter. Picked up by Chan now.
Eribiiax tanking it up for the moment. In comes Malloy's looking to make something happen. Terra ultimate used by Switch, and Ezzuna is the focus for the moment. Mystic Rush, but a big Geb shield right on time. Ezzuna gets healed up by Eribiiax, and now it's CAZ who's going to be able to turn this around potentially right onto Plasma.
And he had a chance, but he goes down fancifully.
Gold Fury now, 50% HP. Atonement, I like his positioning. Just back up as far as possible. CAZ do secure their third Gold Fury of the game. Now Mango Man trying to get away. There's the cleanse and the sprint. He's so fast with that Inspire, but it's still CAZ chasing him down. Atonement, just too much for Chan to handle.
The collapse. I love the collapse. Alexa with the audacity to stick around and take that red buff. That's just a little greedy right there. But the tanky John Kui can walk away. Not only does that Gem of Isolation force out some of the sprints and some of the options from Chan across the way, it also gives him 200 HP. So that's going to make the tanky guy even tankier. CAZ picks up the Portal Demon as well for their troubles. So almost a half hour in, and they've stretched their 6,000 gold lead to almost 9.
Woolvie, you were talking about how you didn't like this Warlock Sash for the Soul in the duo lane. Warlock Sash a little bit less egregious than the fourth item, Spear of Desolation.
Ooh,
that
yeah.
Rod of Tahuti needs to be the purchase in that scenario. Now he's just not doing quite enough damage when Chan really needs it.
Especially as a non-ability based mage, having 1 second off of that, it might not be a big deal. Fire Giant gets blinked on, but it's still CAZ's objective to take. Ezzune now in trouble as he's surrounded by CAZ Esports jerseys. Atonement has no HP, but he's got all the audacity in the world looking for the kill. Plasma's in trouble as well. Dotted and spotted. Alexim gets the kill across the wall, and CAZ up on top.
Mr. Turtle still here. Switch comes in, finds a two-man root. Eribiiax low, but from a quick 2 heals, he's already up about 50%. Mr. Turtle and Switch in a little bit of trouble. Now they're the ones who have to turn and run, but with Alexim and Atonement coming in, CAZ Esports still feels comfortable enough to push forward.
The power of the portal. Atonement already back here and ready to bang. Gonna push this tower down very, very quickly. What a fanciful play by CAZ.
CAZ now backing up because they know that even though they've won the engagement for the moment, there's still a hell on the side of Chan. It only takes one team fight to really turn it around when you've got that much sustain. Going back to that Fire Giant pull, Plasma almost made a big play there.
Yeah.
Love the fact that he and Ezzuna get right on top of Atonement, force him out, and he was stun locked. He didn't have his Purification Beads. He got hit by the Cataclysm and the Fear No Evil, but Plasma decides to try and steal away the Fire Giant instead of finishing off Atonement. In the scenario where you don't steal fire, sure, it's a mistake because Atonement was 1 HP and you could have killed him. But if Plasma uses that ultimate to force Atonement off the Fire Giant and then steals it,
yes,
that ends up being the bigger play. You can't fault him from this point. You know, hindsight's 20/20. I like the thought process there by Plasma. It's just a little unfortunate that it didn't go his way.
That's been sort of the game for Plasma, I feel like, the entire way through. I really enjoyed the pathing that Plasma's taken. I think he's made a lot of the right choices, but he's 3-5-1. His choices and his thought processes just haven't always panned out because honestly, Atonement has just been on point with a lot of these traps. It's not just point and click that he's playing the crit guy. He's actually making some nice plays.
Atonement has definitely been the main problem here for Chan, and the other teams in the EU relegations are going to have to watch out for him, and that's what you expect. I mean, this is a guy who had a ton of success on that rival roster. You sat atop EU for a long, long time with Rapio and Watson and those guys. Now he kind of went off and started to do his own thing. He was on a team that practiced a little bit, and now on this CAZ Esports roster with the likes of Alexim and Malloy's, Mr. Turtle. These are guys who have been around the scene for a little bit now. So it's a matter of if Atonement can come back and just try and show Rival that they aren't going to be the dominant force in EU anymore, certainly playing like a top hunter in his region.
As we pass the half-hour mark, like I said, I mean, CAZ Esports up, what is this, 15,000 gold, just shy of it? 14-5 as well when we're talking about the kills. Dominant late game here against the Hell. Usually, we're talking about Hell as a time bomb. Once she reaches a certain point, she's just going to win the game, but absolutely not the case. Is this the itemization, the God choice, the team fights, or a combination of all three?
Hunters are the one thing that can really deal with Hell well, because that just of how much consistent burst damage Hunters can put out, and Atonement's done that. Whether it's onto Eribiiax or just shredding his front line so that the heals don't really matter quite as much. For me, it's just been the fact that Atonement has done far more than Woolvie has in this game. Now Woolvie finally finished off that Rod of Tahuti, so this is his opportunity to try and make that big impact that Atonement's been making for the last 10 plus minutes.
Yeah, you can see the damage that the Soul's been putting out has been able to be compared to CAZ, but just in the wrong spots. Blinking forward, Chan looking for their opportunity as they bring everybody down low. Here's the monkey on the backside, but everybody gonna be cleaned up by CAZ. Nice and secure.
Alexum needs some heals. Mr. Turtle's doing a great job of zoning away Chan from his healing team. They do have that Fire Giant buff, so have that innate sustain. But again, Chan has that Hell. Turtle still in that front line. Finds the four-man Eagles rally.
What a stun coming out from the Bologna. Woolvie gonna pay for it. Switch with the last hit. Big assist by the entirety of CAZ Esports. Not done just yet, as everybody's pushing up further. Mr. Turtle is really bringing the pain, and Maloys is taking down Ezzuna.
Mango Man still pretty healthy, but oh my goodness, Eribiiax just gets put down by Atonement again. Those big crits deal with Hell very, very effectively, and Atonement again ends up making a huge impact. Look at how low all of CAZ is. Alexum, Switch, Mr. Turtle, all very low in the HP department, but you know who isn't? Atonement and Maloys. Those two really did work underneath that Phoenix, not only getting the Phoenix, but some kills under it as well. CAZ get away with the best Phoenix to get because this Fire Giant's going to be up very soon, and now Chan has to make a choice. So they defend their base and push out those Fire Minions on the left, or be in position to defend the Fire Giant on the right.
I think what you do is you split 3 and 2. You send Geb and Hun Bats over to the Fire Giant, see if there's anything you can do about it. And the rest of the team just farms up nice and secure and pushes the minions out of that left lane. This way you sort of cover all your bases. It's definitely possible. It's definitely plausible. Will it actually happen is a different story. CAZ secure the Portal Demon, so they're able to go back and return to the Fire Giant nice and easy. And you can see Chan, they're more enticed to look for the Fire Giant fight, as they've already pushed up the lane, already up to where that tier 1 tower used to be.
But both Woolvie and Eribiiax are on that left side, so I don't think that Chan is going to have a big opportunity to get in here. No, Ezzuna's all the way back. In fact, Maloys is back in base. He's not worried about it. CAZ secure their second Fire Giant of the game.
Make it look easy. Sometimes it just looks easy when you're looking at these teams. CAZ Esports up almost 20,000, folks. This is a, to say they're in the driver's seat would be putting it lightly. They're just far ready to win. This could be the final push. Get ready.
And we've sung the praises of Atonement quite a bit this game, but Mr. Turtle has also looked phenomenal. He used to be a support, now in that solo role for CAZ, and I mean, that 4-man stun, it's pretty difficult to have a bad team fight after you land a 4-man Eagles rally when sieging that left side Phoenix. Mr. Turtle 2-0 and 12, a part of the 14 of the 17 kills for CAZ. That's a really high kill participation for a solo laner. He's been impressive so far.
I love support players, even when they, especially perhaps, when they leave their role. You can never take that support mentality out. Ezzuna looking for the support play on the back end with the blink forward, but the team not there to capitalize. I heard a Tusky, and I saw Eribieax, but he's gone for the moment. Switch again with the last hit. 3 kills in total on that Terra. The monkey's going to go down as well. Atonement gets what could be the second part of his double kill there, and Ezzuna's in trouble next. Geb Shield helps him for the moment. That's the double kill, number 20 for CAZ Esports. 3 players down for the count. This is the end of the game. CAZ on top.
And Atonement again coming up big. Mr. Turtle as well. Just erase the hell and everything's going to go pretty well for you after that. 20-5. CAZ Esports. We didn't really like the draft.
Nope.
But when it turns out like that, it doesn't really matter how anyone feels about your draft. CAZ looking really strong there.
I mean, like we said, I mean, we mentioned, like, look, sometimes it just comes down to the comfort.
Sure.
I've seen Alexum on the Chang'e. Honestly, I don't think I've seen him that good in the Chang'e. And the Artemis certainly did what Artemis needed to do. So despite the Rock beat the paper today, I think.
But the Rock, Ezzuna was playing Geb, and he was on the losing team.
You are not allowed to do that any longer. First game of the day goes to CAZ Esports above Ezzune-Chan. Fun stuff. We'll see how the games continue. A couple more coming at your way. Stay tuned to hi-rez TV.